Straight ahead on CCX News. Vandals impact Plymouth neighborhoods. Why Plymouth police say these crimes are unusual. Plus, concerns about aggressive door-to-door sales tactics. They could lead to an ordinance change in Brooklyn Park. And a Robbinsdale school teacher who left a lasting impact. What his students remember most. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Plymouth police have issued a crime alert after vandals targeted dozens of vehicles.
We had 26 reported vandalisms around the city of Plymouth.
The perpetrators used a BB gun to shoot out windows of cars. The vandals also spray painted houses, vehicles, and a mailbox. The crimes happened between Wednesday and Thursday of last week. Police say the damage is in the thousands of dollars.
It's not real common to have that amount of vandalisms, but again, every once in a while we will get kids and other people that go through the area and just do a rash of vandalisms, but it's not common to have this many all at once.
The incidents occurred east of 494 all the way to the south border and north of Rockford Road. There are no suspects in custody. If you have any information, call Plymouth Police 763-509-5160. Some good news to report now on a sad story we brought you earlier this month. It was a routine transport of dogs from a rescue shelter in Mississippi to the Animal Humane Society in Golden Valley. But something went tragically wrong. The van broke down and 11 of the dogs died. The cause of death is still being investigated, but Sunday, 10 of the surviving dogs finally arrived in Golden Valley. They will get vet checks starting as early as today, and some could be up for adoption by the middle of the week. Brooklyn Park is considering an ordinance change for door-to-door solicitors. The city has received resident complaints about aggressive door-to-door sales tactics. Under the current ordinance, the city doesn't require solicitors to obtain a license. For example, someone going door-to-door pushing roof repairs is not necessarily required to get a license. It's only required for peddlers or those likely to carry items for sale with them. The city realized this ordinance was outdated. With city council approval, the city will treat peddlers and solicitors the same. The proposed ordinance would also require a criminal background check for anyone who goes door-to-door selling items.
I think one of the things that has triggered this change is awareness of our council, who would like to see background checks happening on people that are going door to door. The city certainly does receive complaints from residents who don't like to have the solicitation happening at the door, or if anything happens out in the community that doesn't seem right, we want to make sure we have ordinances in place to address those things.
There would be exemptions to the ordinance, such as groups doing fundraising. Those going door-to-door promoting religion or election campaigns are also exempt. This is a special year for the organization known as Friends of the Mississippi River. They are celebrating 25 years of improving the river and making positive changes. Eric Nelson is live now at the river, and he joins us now with more on that. Hi, Eric.
Yes, Shannon, I am standing on the banks of Ole Miss right here in Brooklyn Park, and this silver anniversary is a major milestone for Friends of the Mississippi. In 1993, they started with very humble beginnings, but they had a grand vision. Their mission was to protect the Mississippi River.
It's still got a certain majesty because it is one of the greatest rivers of the world.
The mighty Mississippi has been the subject of books, songs, and video. The river is a liquid legend in the U.S., but the Mississippi has also been a dumping ground.
For many years, the Mississippi River was really mistreated. We used it as a sewer.
Because of that, the river became the messy Mississippi, and many Minnesota cities ignored it.
Our communities turned our backs on the river, and it's no wonder because the river was toxic for so long, and it was stinky, and people didn't want to use it.
When Friends of the Mississippi was born 25 years ago, the nonprofit's goal was to clean up the river in the Twin Cities.
And it's not just us, it's all the people in the communities up and down the river who are kind of turning back to the river and saying, wow, this is a tremendous asset. Why didn't we notice this before?
Friends of the Mississippi has become a grassroots voice for the river.
Maybe we're looking past a gem in our midst.
A river that has a special connection to the Brooklyns.
The river up in Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park area, it's a much more intimate river. It's a smaller prairie river. Not long ago, I was reminded what a beautiful river it is there and what an asset it is for that community.
And today, Friends of the Mississippi has a staff of 20+ people who work in their downtown St. Paul office. They also rely on assistance from over 5,000 river advocates and volunteers each year. That's it from here. I'm going to go grab a canoe. Reporting live in Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Just be back for work tomorrow, Eric. All right, talk to you later. In 1 week, candidate filing begins for Osseo School Board, and we now know one board member is stepping down from her seat before her term expires. Stephanie Fortner is resigning from her seat effective at the end of September. Her resignation means there will be 4 school board seats up for election in November, and that's because the terms expire for 3 other board members. Candidates can begin filing for Osseo School Board July 31st. The person who replaces Fortner will fill her seat in November. Besides Osseo, candidates will also begin filing next week for Robbinsdale School Board, as well as city council races in the cities of Plymouth, Maple Grove, and Osseo, which do not hold primaries. We all remember a special teacher in our life who went the extra mile for his or her students. On Sunday afternoon in Robbinsdale, former students came together to remember a theater teacher who made a difference many years ago. Photojournalist Ben Kroll was there, and he shows us what it was like.
Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy.
This was a tribute to Neil Lupke, a treasured teacher, mentor, and director for RHS musicals for 30+ years.
They know him fondly as Uncle Neil.
I think he was amused by it.
But first be a person who needs people.
To work with Neil was to take a master class in theater and somewhat of a master class in life.
Here we go.
He directed over 15 musicals through RHS High School, and he has a lot of beloved fans and students that came out of Robbinsdale High School and made their career from the tutelage of Neil.
You showed us that it wasn't just you didn't just show up. You did your best, and that's really carried me through this life, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Neil.
Neil had a way of making all these people work together. It was amazing.
Neil is special. He demanded a standard. It was the Lupke standard, and we all adhered to it because guess what? There was no second chances. You know, other teachers would let us skate by, but not Neil.
He was everywhere. He was wonderful. He paid attention to all his teachings during the day, and he was fully available for everything else at night, including directing the musicals and most of the time doing the costumes. I don't know when the man ever slept.
Neil Lupke was an amazing educator, a tremendous example of a life you could live in theater. I can't thank him enough.
We reached out and spoke with Neil's wife, Carol, earlier today, and Neil wanted to thank the organizers and all of the teachers who turned out for the event. He says he was very honored by the tribute. Still ahead on CCX News, a new business in Osseo that uses a very old school way to teach kids how to do math. Plus, highlights from the championship round of the USA Cup soccer tournament. But first, pretty much perfect on Tuesday, sunshine and highs in the low 80s. A new tutoring academy in Osseo teaches mental math the old-fashioned way with an abacus. But learning at Tinker Thinkers Academy is about much more than just math. Neil Pursley shares more in today's Business Matters.
Can you add the total of these 6 numbers in about 8 seconds?
Go!
These kids can. Welcome to Tinker Thinkers Academy in Osseo. The Tinker Thinkers curriculum was developed by Dennis Chippernoy and is about more than just math skills.
868.
There are 6 very important skills and benefits which our program brings. Focus, concentration, memory, imagination and observation, and ability to process information really fast. So when our students build these skills, they build the self-esteem and self-confidence.
The curriculum uses mental math that at first is taught with an abacus.
Practicing on abacus math helps to improve concentration and focus. It does help improve visual memory, imagination, all of these skills I mentioned.
Eventually, students don't need the abacus because they visualize the abacus as they do the mental calculations, thereby bringing together both left and right brain functions.
By working with two sides of the brain, right brain, which is our creativity, intuition, music, rhythm, etc., and left brain, which is our logic, short-term memory, and reaction, we help our students to build both sides of the brain at the same time, use it at the same time in full capacity.
The exercises are more like games, and the students seem to enjoy the challenge.
We don't come to Tinker Thinkers for math skills. We come here to work on things like working memory and focus, and it gives them the skills to be able to hold information in their heads while they're doing other things in their day.
Adam, who is 7, and Thomas, who is 5, have been enrolled at Tinker Thinkers since last fall.
One thing we do for fun when we're shopping is I'll have my older son keep a tally of our groceries as we go and see if, while we're eating samples at Costco and chatting about our day, can he remember that we were at $57, and when he adds 6, we're at 63, and hold that 63 in his head while he's looking at something he wants to buy. So being able to keep a working tally in your head is a really cool tool.
Dennis said the optimal age for Tinker Thinkers Academy is about 6 to 13, although students outside those parameters can benefit as well. From Tinker Thinkers Academy in Osseo, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Right now, this is the only Tinker Thinkers Academy, but the long-term goal is to open other locations in the future. Still ahead, the results of a Guinness World Record attempt in Brooklyn Park. But first, a Hopkins High School graduate will test herself against top rugby players in the nation. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The 33rd annual USA Cup soccer tournament wrapped up its week-long run with championship matches. A handful of local teams played in finals. Girls under 16 bronze division final, Fusion Navy won against Lakes United FC. First half, Fusion up 1-0. Looking for more. Ava Courtwright's header just wide though. Second half, Fusion strikes Courtwright centers. Maya Eidenschink pops it in, and Fusion goes on to win 3-0 for the bronze division title. Girls under 17 silver A division final pitted Maplebrook against New Ulm Select. First half, Madison Roof's shot is stopped, but Bryn Nesvold buries the rebound there for a 1-0 New Ulm lead. Second half, New Ulm goes up 3-0. Roofs gets it in the box. Nesvold nets her second goal of the game. Maplebrook has its chances but can't get anything in, and New Ulm wins it 3-0. Three other local teams won their championship matches Saturday. The Maplebrook Storm girls won the under 14 silver division title, while another Maplebrook girls team won the gold title in the under 13 division. Also, the Fusion SC 10 and under boys gold team won their championship match. Sophia Haley graduated from Hopkins High School this past spring after playing 7 seasons for the Royals rugby team. This summer, Haley was the only Minnesotan selected to the USA Rugby High School All-America team. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
As an 11-year-old, Sophia Haley discovered rugby sort of by accident.
My brother made me go to a practice when I was in 6th grade, and I didn't really want to go, but he forced me to go.
But she was intrigued by the sport and started playing for the Hopkins High School team as a 6th grader.
So we only had one team, we had one varsity team. So I was a 6th grader going and playing with these seniors, and I was extremely intimidated, but they were just incredibly nice. And it was kind of more of a family than anything, so.
Haley has developed into one of the best young rugby players in Minnesota. Rugby is a tough, hard-hitting, physical sport, and that's what Haley loves about it.
I just like to make big hits when I can, for sure. It's super empowering because the girls' rules are the same as the boys, and I just love full contact, so.
She tackles probably more than 20 hits a game, which is way higher than most kids. And so her tackling, you oftentimes see girls lay on the ground for quite a while deciding whether they want to keep playing or not.
Haley was recently selected to the USA Rugby Girls High School All All-America team, and this week she travels to Lake Placid for the Can-Am tournament, which brings together some of the best young rugby players in the world.
We're going to have about 4 days of practicing, and there's actually going to be 3 different teams that they're going to place us in. So the 4 different days will kind of be like a kind of tryout to see which team you're on, who do you blend well with, and then they're going to place us on our team, and then Saturday and Sunday we're going to play, and we're going to face Canada and different teams.
Shortly after Lake Placid, Haley is off to college. She'll study and play rugby at Dartmouth College. The Big Green is a Division I rugby program and finished as the national runner-up last season.
Just the class that's going in there to play right now, I'm just incredibly honored. They're all like very talented, and it just makes me super excited. I went and visited 2 times, and the girls there are extremely nice, and they're also just wonderful people and players.
That was Jason Balillo reporting. Sophia leaves Tuesday for that Can-Am tournament in Lake Placid, New York. Here's an update on a local wrestler that we featured in our What I Did This Summer series a couple of weeks back. Joey Thompson, who won a state title for Maple Grove last season and will wrestle at Tutino Grace this upcoming year, finished 6th at 113 pounds in the Junior National Freestyle Tournament in Fargo. Thompson was one of just 5 Minnesotans who earned All-America status in freestyle. Emily Shilson of Maple Grove won the women's 100-pound title. That's all for sports. Shannon, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Up next, an attempt for a Guinness World Record. A New Hope company celebrating 100 years tries to make history. How they did when we come back. A New Hope company tried to set a Guinness World Record on Friday for the most expressions of gratitude. Liberty Diversified International celebrated 100 years of business last week, and they also wanted to go down in history with a world record. They needed 1,000 expressions of gratitude recorded in 1 hour. But after almost an hour of counting, they fell about 28 expressions short. So an official World Book judge on site deemed the record not set. This wrapped up Gratitude Week, where the company gave away millions of dollars and inspired gratitude in several locations. So congratulations, you still did a lot of good. That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here Tuesday starting at 4 o'clock.